Hi everyone, it's Bill from Crooked Acres. Welcome back to the homestead. With fall pretty much winding down here, middle of October, we've started to formulate some plans for next year, some things we want to do. We've got some big plans and a couple of potential big moves. So we're going to share a little bit of that with you today. Also, we've got to do some organizing around here. Our turkeys are going to butcher in about 3 weeks. We've got to get their transfer crates over there by the cages. And lastly, we're going to cover what I like to call the forgotten farm animal. So stick around. I'll tell you what I think that is. I'll show you why I think that is. Stay tuned. So I just stacked the transport cages up behind the turkey coop itself so they're there for us when we're ready. And those cages are simply just to take the birds to the butcher. I'll give you an update on our birds. They're doing very nicely. Like I said, they're about 3 weeks out. We have 3 toms and 5 hens, best we can tell. And the toms are pretty big. The hens are also getting big, but they're going to be great. Turned out nice. So I'm out back here by our garden and our turkey and chicken coops, which you've all seen. Now our current garden is 56 feet by 48 feet. So it's rather large. Now when we put this garden up, we put it up prior to us even living here. So there was nothing here. Obviously we didn't have the animals, we didn't have the garage, we didn't have the house. There was nothing built here whatsoever. And we were actually commuting that first summer back and forth to tend to the garden. So now that we've got the structure, the house, and all that put together, we're contemplating whether the pick for the garden or where we put it was the proper place. One of the biggest plans we have for next year is we want to add pigs to the homestead. So are trying to figure out a place where we want to put the pigs. We thought possibly we could put them behind the turkey and chicken coops in the back over there, but we've got some very large glacier rock over there, and I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to put any kind of poles or fencing in for a proper fence for pigs to keep it strong enough. So the big idea that we had, one of the big future plans, potentially, we're still deciding, is to take our entire garden here and move it over to the other side of the property that I'll show you in a minute. It would take a lot of work, a little bit of work, but I think it's something that could be beneficial, because then we could put our pig coop right where our current garden is, which is right next to our chickens and turkeys, and would keep all our animals in one general area. Now, a couple challenges to that, to moving the garden, are our asparagus patch here, which is pretty mature at this point. Next year will be the 3rd year, so we should do some heavy harvesting next year. Asparagus is not the type of plant that you're going to move. Once it's in the ground, it's in the ground. So if we do decide to move the entire garden operation, we are going to probably end up keeping this asparagus patch here. And right behind the asparagus patch over there, we have our blueberry trees. All 3 of them, they're very small trees. They've got a couple years to go, but that might actually work. With the blueberry trees right there and the asparagus right next to them, we could hem that in or fence that in somehow, and that may work okay. The second issue we would have with moving the entirety of the garden is our original strawberry patch. Our original strawberry patch sits over here. This also would have to stay. But with strawberries, they're only going to produce for 3 to 4 years, and then you're going to tear them out. So we could quite possibly just keep these here for the next 3 or 4 years, and then tear them out and be done with them at that point. But those are the only 2 real obstacles to moving the garden. Big job, big project. We still haven't completely decided, but I'm kind of leaning that way. That will allow us to put our pigs in this general area here, which is next to our chickens. And, you know, therefore we wouldn't be really crammed for room. We'd have as much room as we want here. So this is the area here that we're thinking about moving our garden over to. This area is about 120 feet by 55 feet, which would be considerably bigger than what we already have. But we do want to do some new things next year that we haven't done in the past. Mrs. Crooked Acres, Tracy, wants to plant some sunflowers. She wants to plant some other flowers. We want to try a few different vegetables. And we just recently received a recipe from our good friend Dottie down in Florida for some secret chili sauce. It calls for Roma tomatoes. So Dottie will get a roll of Roma tomatoes in for next year, so we can work on that, and we'll make sure you get a jar. But anyways, this is 120 feet by 55 feet, bigger than what we got. If we can move the garden over here, that will allow us to get our pigs over in our current garden area, maybe another outbuilding down the road. You know, we'll see what happens. So it's about 120 feet by 54 feet, this section. And I'll walk you along here. Like I said, it's to the side of our garage, but it leads back to where we just put in our new strawberry patch. If you had watched the video a few weeks ago, we transplanted over 100 strawberry plants right here to the back of this section that I'm talking about. So I think this could make an ideal area to expand our garden to, because we do have our new strawberry patch right there, which, to give you a quick update, they are doing excellent. Very happy with how they're coming out. We started mulching some of them in there in the back. We'll have that all mulched up shortly, but those are coming good. As soon as the weather changes, we'll get them covered in straw for the winter. But that section, you can see the higher grass starts right about here. Now I'm thinking we could also move our raspberry patch and put it along here in front of the garden. Just some ideas we have. But that would make for a rather large gardening area. Another thing about this area here is this area would receive almost constant sun. There's nothing really to shade it at all. The shade from the garage here that's right behind me would barely reach that at all. There's no trees, no nothing, so this area would stay, in the sun for the entirety of the day. So the three big plans that we have for next year, we covered the first two. We're going to add pigs to the homestead. We're going to potentially move the garden over to this area here. We haven't completely decided on that yet, but that would be the second thing. And the third thing that we're planning on doing in this upcoming year is we are going to install some water lines from our house out to our chicken coops and potentially over to our garden here. And I'll show you what that's going to look like. So our spigot comes out of the house on that corner here. So the plan is I'm going to put a two-way on there. One of them is going to go straight down into the ground there, and then we are going to get 3/4 inch underground line, and we are going to run it all the way back to the corner of our chicken coops there, which is approximately 100, maybe 120 feet. I haven't measured it completely yet. And we're gonna put a spigot back there. Simply, it's gonna make life a lot easier for giving the animals water. It'll be right there available for us. We won't have to carry it across the yard like we have this year. Also, if we do put the pigs right there, it'll be way easier. And then in the late spring and early summer when we're raising our meat chickens, last year we had them out in this general area, and we had a hose running across the entire yard, which was a total pain, so we won't have to do that either. The second thought we have is about halfway back here, we're thinking about putting a T in that line and running another spigot either over to the corner of our shed or beyond our shed there, which will lead into the new garden area that I was showing you. Where exactly we're going to put that spigot, I haven't completely decided yet, but it's going to be a fairly big job. We'll get a trencher, we'll bring it in. I'm probably not going to go down a full, below the frost line, which is 4 feet in our location here. I don't intend on using it in the winter, so I'll just blow it out at season end and just leave it. If it freezes, it freezes, whatever. So that's the third big plan on the homestead for next year. Like I said, I'm sure there'll be some other small ones, but if we can get those three major things done, we will be happy. And future plans are always just that, future plans. All right, so at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was going to tell you about the forgotten farm animal. In my opinion, these two, well, one guy and one gal, are the forgotten farm animals, barn cats. A lot of people kind of don't like barn cats because they think they take out a lot of the, bird population, songbirds, that sort of stuff. But I don't think that's much of a problem in a rural environment, and these guys are needed when you've got chickens and feed and that sort of stuff to control the mice and rat population. So these are our two barn cats, one male, one female. We did get them from the same litter way back in July. They were about 8-9 weeks old when we got them. They were born in a pole barn also, so that's all they really know. So their job here on the farm is to catch mice and rodents, and I know they do a good job of that already because they've left us a half dozen or so on our patio, which, yeah, at least we know they're doing their job. But for barn cats, you can call them farm animals. They serve a purpose here. A lot of people get barn cats, throw them in their barn, and that's it. They don't really do much with them. We do. We make sure that we're hands-on with them so they stay friendly. We do take care of them. They do have their rabies shots. They are not quite old enough for spayed and neutered yet, but they will be here shortly, and they will be going to get that done. So we don't have loads of kittens here on the homestead. But yeah, we do take care of them. We do provide them with food and water, and I just fed them. I just put food in their bowl, so they're a little squirmish. They want to get over there. But I'll let them down, and yeah. One of the other things that we do for our cats is we do provide them with unlimited in and out access to the pole barn. They do have a cat door there. They can go in and out as they please. As you can see, they're playing there now. We install that right next to the man door. They see us coming in and out of there. They learn fairly quickly that that's their door in and out. Literally within 12 hours, they were aware that that's what they were to use. You know, once we installed it, we took them each, put them in and out a couple times, and that's all we really had to do. The door itself is 5 inches by 5 inches, so it's big enough if you're worried about some wildlife possibly getting into your pole barn. I suppose it could happen. If it does, it's something we'll take care of at that point. I'm not super concerned about it. I'd rather have that than have to leave a door open for the cats, because they do the majority of their hunting at night, and I want them to be able to get in and out, especially with winter setting in, so they can stay warm and that sort of stuff. So that's what we do for their access to the pole barn. They will do this for hours on end. I've noticed that these guys are most active in the morning, in the evening, and then all night, but they sleep all day. I will find them in here in assorted different places about 11 a.m. and you don't see them again until about 4. But when cats have these little wrestling matches, they're playing, they're learning. It's pretty cool to watch them do all this stuff. They get goofy. But anyways, there they are. There's our 2 barn cats. Again, they serve a purpose here, rodent control, which is very important, and we're glad to have them. All right, hey, thanks for watching the video. I'm glad I was able to share some of our future plans with you. It's 3 of the big ones we're looking to maybe accomplish next year. I'm sure there'll be more as time goes on. I hope you liked our little introduction to our couple of barn cats here. If you do like the videos, please hit like, hit subscribe, share them with your friends. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.